We took 6 months total to build the whole bus.
We didn't know much about electrical and all that stuff when we started building.
The plan is to rip out the shower. We realized we didn't need it.
The bed is really high, so it allows us to have quite a bit of storage back there. I'm CJ.
I'm Courtney. We're on the roads.
We've been traveling in our Skoolie full-time for 9 months now. Let's go take a tour.
This is our kitchen. One of our favorite parts of it is our ice maker. So this is really fun. You just plug it in, put some fresh water in there, it makes ice in 7 minutes. We love it. Then we have our sink right here. It connects to our 40-gallon freshwater tank, which is stored under the bed, and then drains to our 20-gallon gray water tank, which is under the bus. We got lots of counter space here, which is really helpful when we're cooking things. This was supposed to be our stove. As you can see, the pieces cut out for a stove. But we decided that we didn't want to use the 5-gallon propane tanks. We didn't want to mess with mounting that on the outside of the bus. So instead, we bought a cooktop stove, as you see many people using while camping, and that's what we've been using thus far. As far as storage for kitchen stuff, we have a bunch of storage up here, plates and bowls and things, and then we have another area for storage right down here, some clear bins that are really helpful when you're seeing what you need to pull out, and then other assorted items. When picking out our sink size, we wanted to minimize it because we really valued the countertop space, but then it makes it really difficult when washing dishes and things like that. I think if we did this again, we would make a bigger sink. The kitchen part took probably a month total. We took 6 months total to build the whole bus. I think this part was about a month. The hardest part was like getting all the plumbing figured out because we also have plumbing that runs to our shower. It all connects and goes to our gray tank. That took a long time, and then we put off hooking up the stove, which is one of the reasons why we decided in the end not to do it. This is our couch slash bench that we created. This was one of the things that when we were building the bus, I told CJ I needed it done right away because I was working online, and I said I needed a place to sit while he was finishing the rest of the bus. So this is one of the first things that got done probably after the bed. Basically it's just a bench, then we put these cushions, they're Velcroed down so they don't move anywhere. Inside the couch is all of our batteries, our inverter, that all then, connects to the solar panels and then goes out to our breaker box right here. This is really convenient right here because we can just flip these switches on and off as needed. That has been really convenient. We don't have to get into the couch as much as most people do when they put like other random clothes storage and stuff like that. So I really like that we did that. We got these like big fluffy pillows, which have been awesome just moving around. We throw them on the floor, sit on them all the time, so these have been really helpful. And then we have a couple other things over here. We have our remote that goes to our lights that are USB rechargeable. It's really convenient when you're sitting on the couch, sitting in bed. We have these remotes everywhere. We can dim them, we can turn them on, off, put them on a timer, anything like that. And then the other thing is our temperature monitor, so that way we make sure the bus does not get too hot for the dogs. It's really important when you're living on the road. CJ and I met doing gymnastics in Missouri, and shortly thereafter we got married. We moved to Washington, D.C., where we were living, working. Everything was just dandy. Then the pandemic hit, so we were doing a lot of camping. We both were not going into work. It was kind of crazy, living in the city during that time. So we were going out to Shenandoah National Park a lot, camping. One day we were just sitting by the fire and we were like, we never want to leave. We want to do this for the rest of our lives. Like, how can we make our dreams come true? And we started brainstorming. We had seen a lot of people doing van life, and that seemed interesting to us. We said, let's look into it. And the rest is history. Then we found the bus, and now we live in it. It's our home. We moved to Washington, D.C. because I was going to graduate school there. I was getting my master's degree in international affairs, and then I was also working as a contractor for the government I did that for actually a little over 3 years, so that is how we were kind of saving up our money in DC. CJ was a professional gymnast. He was competing at the elite level in his sport, trampoline and tumbling, and so he was also coaching gymnastics and working a couple other side jobs. After we decided to do the bus, we wanted to do gymnastics camps around the country. So both of us are gymnastics coaches. We have a lot of experience doing camps, so we've done a couple camps. Unfortunately, we didn't get as many as we hoped, and it was, post-pandemic, a lot of gyms are still struggling with money, so we weren't able to do that to sustain ourselves. We did luckily, however, save up enough money that we could travel for a while without working, and then recently I started tutoring online, so we do that, and then we pick up odd jobs. We're also making a little bit of money off of our social media, so that has helped supplement as well. We have a full-size bed up here. We made the decision to keep it kind of high. It does get a little bit hot up here when it's summertime, but we needed to fit a lot of storage and the dog crates under the bed. So that's what we have down there. We have 2 dogs. They go right under the bed. When we're sleeping, they're under the bed. It's perfect setup. We love it. So then we have our headboard over here. We built that out of wood, and that has been really convenient. I knew I needed somewhere when I'm going to bed. I like to be on my phone and then just put my phone right up by my head on the headboard, so that has been nice. And then we also have an outlet over here, so you can see we have our string lights that are up. Kind of just adds to the mood, to the overall vibe of the bus, so those have been really fun. We also have a 40-inch TV right here. A lot of people are jealous of that. It's mounted. We go to bed watching Survivor every night. It's been a fantastic addition to the bus. We knew we wanted to continue our nightly routine of watching a show before going to bed, so that has helped us continue that. Any space you can use for storage, do it. So we cut a hole right here that we were like, we're gonna put some baskets over here, we're gonna keep some storage. That's a lot of our medicine, stuff like that, and then we have just random envelopes, tape, scissors, all of that stuff in the other basket. So that has been a big help as well. We have a vent back here. It goes to the bus air conditioner, which is not actually working, but we knew we wanted to make sure there was airflow to that, so we put a vent over it, so that has been good. We also have another outlet right under here, which is where our TV plugs into, and then of course we have our JBL speaker when we want to be bopping in the bus. So like I said before, it's really important to have a lot of storage in your bus, and that's what we did over here. We have a bunch of food storage. This is what we call our pantry in here, and then our fridge is down here. It opens from the top. It's also able to be set to either fridge or freezer, so that's kind of convenient, but we have basically just used it as a fridge. Then we have some clothes storage up here. This is where we keep a lot of our swimsuits, hats, miscellaneous things like that. And here is our closet. So we have a space for hangers and then lots of storage down here for our pants, other things as far as clothes go. This is also miscellaneous storage. You just have random things that you need randomly, and so then you need places to put things. So we put those up there. One of my favorite parts of the bus, though, is actually this full-size mirror. So I told CJ when he was building it out, I really need someplace a full-size mirror can go. Don't want it to be inconvenient, somewhere a little bit out of the way but accessible. And he did an awesome job building the slide-out mirrors, slides out, slides back in. We have a little hook because when you're driving, everything goes crazy, so we need to make sure everything stays in place. The last thing I'll talk about over here is this shelf. Also miscellaneous things, but more like daily use things that we can grab it. That's a lot of our vitamins, medicine, and then usually the camera goes up there so we can grab it quickly. We decided to put a shower in our bus. We couldn't imagine living without a shower, and then we quickly realized that when you live in a bus and you're going to Planet Fitness all the time, you don't actually need a shower. You can shower a couple times a week, Planet Fitness, it's great. So then our shower became storage. like most people who live in a short school bus. So you can find our dirty clothes, our silk bags, our shoes in here. Basically, yeah, any random larger item is in here. We do have, however, a shower head. It reaches all the way outside the window in the kitchen, and so this has been really nice because we can shower outside when it's warm enough. To shut off the shower water, we have this valve over here. You can access it through the kitchen. And wanted to mention this wallpaper, beautiful. We kind of copied Arbor Season, so sorry about that, guys. But we absolutely love this wallpaper. Last thing I want to point out over here is the bottle opener. We don't drink beer that often, but when we do, it's super fun to come over here, crack open a cold one, and take a drink. Over here we have a couple more storage options. This is where we keep pens, lighters, a lint roller. If you have dogs, you know what I'm talking about. And then up here is all of our cords. We were constantly losing cords in the bus, so we knew we needed to find a solution. We put this up here. Any cord we need, you can find it up here. When we go back to our home base in Missouri, the plan is to rip out the shower. We realized we didn't need it. I think what we're gonna do is extend the countertop. We'll probably fix the stove area as well, and then make it into a desk, and we'll have an extra seating area right here. So that'll be really nice. I've been doing a lot of online work, and we do a lot of editing and stuff now for our social media. So we can sit here, edit, work on whatever, and not have to be on the couch or the bed or wherever else.
So when we found the bus, we decided to buy it the next day because we realized there were a ton of benefits to it. Like, we can stand up in here. A lot of the vans we were looking at we were planning on living, not being able to stand up in our vehicle or our home, and this was really helpful. Plus, we have enough room that we can keep both our dogs in here really comfortably with us, and it's not too crowded. Another great thing about a bus is it's really easy to insulate, so I put a ton of insulation through the ceiling and walls and stuff like that, so when we do cool it down or heat it up, it stays that temperature for quite a while. One thing we did struggle with, though, that we didn't know too much about when we started was we went from Missouri to the Gulf of Mexico in the middle of summer, which was super hot. It was really uncomfortable. We now know, like, if you're living in a vehicle or traveling full time, you pretty much should just follow the weather, and that's how you're gonna be the most comfortable and the happiest. So the front part of the bus was the very last week of the build, basically, so it didn't actually get all the way finished. We kind of just threw up some framing up onto the metal and then put plywood over the top and decided to mount some stickers and our map up here, which we have tracked everywhere we've gone so far in the past 9 months, and so far we've almost made it a whole lap. Hopefully we'll do that by the end of the year. And then right before we were leaving, there is a ton of room, probably like 2 feet up there of storage that we could have used that was just covered up. So we just cut out a hole and added this cabinet in here, and this is where most of our dog stuff goes. So like toys, all their grooming stuff, fun stuff like that. And then Courtney actually, the last couple days decided to plant some plants, so we threw these up here at the front, and yeah. Okay, so here is our garage. We have quite a bit of room behind the dog crates back there that we put most of our like actual camping stuff, our backpacking stuff, our weights. We try and work out as much as we can on the road, so we got these adjustable dumbbells that are super nice that we can just throw in there and bring them out whenever we want. So like we said before, the bed is really high, so it allows us to have quite a bit of storage back there. So this is where we have our 40-gallon water tank, freshwater tank, and then all of our extra camping stuff, our stuff that we really don't need to get into very often, but it's nice to have. So when we started, we knew we wanted to have an extra form of transportation, so we got some bikes that we could bring with us, and initially the plan was to mount them on the back, but we didn't get to that in time. So for the first couple weeks, we were storing our bikes inside the bus, which was really inconvenient, really hard to do. We had to take them out every time we stopped. So we got somewhere and found someone that mounted a bike rack to the front of our bus and got them out there, which was super nice and helpful for the drives, long drives and stuff like that. So up on top, we have 400 watts of solar that connects to our 3 100 amp hour lithium ion smart batteries. Those go to our 2000 watt inverter charger that's all under the couch in there, which the bigger size battery bank and the inverter charger was really helpful because it allows us to run the Dometic AC unit, which is also mounted up on the top. So the AC unit was really nice, and we didn't know much about electrical and all that stuff when we started building. We can run the AC unit just off the solar in our battery bank for a couple hours and cool down the bus. But past that, it gets a little iffy with the batteries. So if we're connected to shore power, we could run it all we want. So when we decided to live nomadically, we were looking online for vans because we didn't know much about this lifestyle. So we looked for probably 6 or 7 months and couldn't find anything, and they were all like too expensive or engines were worn out, stuff like that. It was just crazy. And then one day I was looking at this listing online. They had a big vehicles section, and I clicked on it and they had 2 school buses. So we decided we might as well go look at them, and we drove out and test drove them. I took them to a mechanic and had him look at it. He said they were in great condition, and we bought one of them the next day. My biggest piece of advice is when you start, it's gonna be hard and you're gonna go through probably a couple months of where you're like, I don't know what we're doing, I don't know why we did this, but once you get past that and you learn how to live in this kind of space, it's amazing.
Don't quit after 2 months if you hate it. Give yourself some time.
Yeah.
You might learn to love it. Thank you so much for watching. Follow us on all platforms at OT Roads. That's OTRHOADES. And we're excited to continue sharing our travels with everyone, and we hope to see you on the roads.